So we'll go sa ating topic for this morning. Ano po? Ang topic natin is all about itong very important topic about the prophetic code of Daniel. Ha? Hindi nag-exit yung? So the prophetic code of Daniel, dito po sa Daniel chapter 9. Actually, ito po ay buong code. Prophetic code throughout the book of Daniel na we are going to study this morning. So, focus natin ating attention dito po sa ating mapapag-aralan ngayong umaga. Ano po? Now, puntahan natin itong para meron tayong overview talking about the calendar of Daniel. Ano po? Okay. Ito makikita po natin yung timeline or hour which is the basic foundation of the prophecy of Daniel. Ano po? So meron po tayong 4 seasons po dito sa ating screen throughout the year. Ito po ay naobserbahan ano po dahil pag when we study ito pong whole year ng this is the original year, Hebrew year ano po in the scripture. 1 year is divided into 4 seasons po yan: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Okay, and every season ay meron pong 3 buwan, 3 months, and every month po dito has 30 days. Okay, so ito yung ancient Hebrew timeline po ano po. So 12 ano to 4 seasons, 12 months, every month has 30 days. So 12 times 30, ganyan. So the whole year we have 360 days. Okay, so yan yung ito po yung foundation ng prophetic code of Daniel. 360 days in a year. And if you notice, between winter and spring, okay, itong pinakamaliit na yan na line po dyan, between winter and spring, before it turned to spring, apo, meron po ditong isang araw na pagitan. So 12 hours sa winter and then 12 hours sa spring. Ito po yung tinatawag nating equinox. Okay? Equinox and solstices. Dito po sa mundo po natin. Pag sinabi nating equinox, that is 12 hours sa day, 12 hours din sa night. Okay? So meron pong meron pong pagitan po diyan na 20, basically 24 hours. Okay, so 300 360 days in a year plus one day dito, one day din diyan, between spring and summer, between summer and fall another day, between fall and winter another day. So actually 300 sa isang taon 364 days. Yan po yung solar time ano po, calendar na uh, pag-aralan po natin, original or ancient year ano po in the Bible. So yan po yung mapapag-aralan po natin ngayong umaga. Okay? Now let's go first to sa ating code natin ano po. Sa sinasabi po dito sa Daniel chapter 9, we will study itong calculation. We will learn itong prophetic code of Daniel na 360 days in a year, because this code is consistent dito po, particularly sa 70 weeks na binabanggit sa verse 24, di ba? 70 weeks are determined upon the nation of Israel and Jerusalem, sabi po diyan ano po. So mayroon pong timeline na binabanggit po dito ng Panginoon revealed kay Daniel ano po. So 70 weeks, that is equivalent to 490 years. Now, meron po binabanggit po dito ng so 70 weeks, including ito pong last verse. Okay? Sabi diyan, He shall confirm the covenant for 1 week. So in our study, itong 1 week po dito, speaking of the last week or the Great Tribulation period. So ang timeline ng Panginoon, sabi diyan sa verse number 24, 70 weeks minus yung 1 week, dahil future pa ito, future pa tong verse 27 na 1 week. So ile-less natin sa 70 yung 1 week, which is equivalent to 69 weeks. So from the going forth of the commandment, sabi po ito sa verse number 25, ang timeline nagsimula sa from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. Yan ang simula ng timeline po natin. Okay? So napag-aralan po natin ito nung sa mga nakaraang linggo. This will take us all the way to saan po dito? This will take us all the way to the decree of Cyrus in 537 BC. Okay, so from 537 BC, yan yung time na simula, starting ng timeline sa Daniel 9:25, from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. Yan, so yan 537 BC po yan, ano po. So from the decree of Cyrus until, sabi po dito, unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, 62. So 60, that is 60, 62, plus 7, 69 weeks. So, from the decree of Cyrus, ha? From the decree of Cyrus in 537 BC, unto the Messiah, the Prince, sabi dyan, di ba? Unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 69 weeks. So, yeah, tama po yan. Binabanggit po dito. Ano po? Sa verse number, that is confirmatory dito po sa verse number 24 na 70 weeks less yung last week, which is 1 week in verse 27, that will be 69 weeks. So, from the decree of Cyrus, unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 69 weeks. Okay, so yan yung timeline sa verse number 25. Ano po? But take note po dito sa verse number 26. Sabi po dito, after 62 shall the Messiah be cut off. So, after 62 weeks, the Messiah shall be cut off. So, ano to? Another element po dito po sa timeline po natin. Ang beginning natin ay yung decree ni Cyrus sa 537 BC hanggang doon sa Messiah the Prince. Sabi po dyan, which is ilang weeks ito? Ha? 69. Diba? Sa verse number 25. Okay, 62 and 7 weeks, 69 weeks. But, sabi sa verse 26, sa 62nd week, the Messiah will die. Sabi po dyan sa verse number 26. So, another particulars po dito, yung death ng Panginoon, prophesied sa verse number 26, from 537 BC, sa decree ni King Cyrus, hanggang sa crucifixion ng Panginoon sa 32 AD. Okay, that is 62 weeks. Sabi po dyan, mga kapatid. Ano po? Okay? Now, and then, dito po sa verse, going back sa verse number 25, the Messiah, the Prince, sabi po dyan, bakit binabanggit dito yung death ng Panginoon sa verse 26, 62 weeks? Pero pag sa verse number 25, from the decree until to the Messiah is 69 weeks. Diba? So that means future event pa itong verse number 25. Dahil speaking about the Messiah as the Prince. Okay? So, ito po yung timeline, ito po yung code ni Daniel. So, sa verse 26, from 537 BC, okay, from 537 BC, ng code ni Daniel, code ni Daniel, na decree ni Cyrus, decree ni Cyrus, i-apply natin itong code ni Daniel na every year is 360 days. So, gagawin natin yung mathematics po dito, ay it will point us all the way sa 32 AD, or to be exact, that is April 16, 32 AD. Okay, so ganyan ka-precise at ka-exact itong prophecy ni Daniel, observing ito pong kanyang code, prophetic code na po. So that is just an example ano po. Now, we will go to another prophecy ni Daniel na malalaman na mahalagang mapuntahan ho natin. Okay, puntahan natin itong saan ba ito? Daniel chapter ano ito? Chapter 5. 'Di ba? Chapter 5 ito. So Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 5. Let's go to Daniel and observing the same code. Throughout the book of Daniel, itong prophetical code ni Daniel ay ma-overwhelming. Makikita po natin from Daniel chapter 5 sa ating study last time, itong binabanggit sa verse number 25, di ba? Okay? Itong many tekel oparsin or mene, tekel, and peres. Ayan. Okay, so dalawang method of interpretation po binanggit dito ano po. If we are going to interpret this as a verb, yung verb ng mene is to number. Yung tekel is to weight. And then yung peres is to divide. Okay, so nakasulat naman diyan sa mga verses, di ba? That means God has numbered thy kingdom, weight, and divided thy kingdom, sabi diyan, and given to the Medes and the Persians. Okay, so kailan nangyari po ito? Kailan nangyari po ito? Ito po yung present sa kapanahon dito sa Daniel, ano po, chapter 5. Ito po yung present judgment to Belshazzar. Sabi diyan sa verse number 25, then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and in that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom about 62 years old, sabi po diyan, ano po. Okay, so Belshazzar was slain by Darius the Median, ano po. Okay, the Medes and the Persians ang simula ng kanilang kingdom. So, if we are going to interpret this by using yung meaning ng verb na mene, tekel, and peres, ayun nga ibig sabihin niyan. Pero, if we are going to interpret the mene, tekel, and peres as a noun, ang mene is 1,000 geras, and it is mentioned 2 times diyan, di ba, sa verse 25, di ba? Oh, yan. Okay? So that means 2,000 yan. 1,000, another mene is 2,000. Shekel or tekel is 20 gera or 20 geras, and peres is 500 geras. So as a noun, ito po yung code ni Daniel, ano po. Pag pinagsama lahat po diyan, ano po, yung verse 25 na mene is 1,000, another 1,000 plus itong tekel is 20, and then yung peres is 500. So 2,520. Okay? 2,520. Now, if we are going to incorporate itong code ni Daniel, okay, using itong 2,520 years sa Daniel chapter 5, times 360 days would amount to 907, 200 days. Okay? And to be equated in the Gregorian calendar, ito pong figure natin na 907, 20, 200 days, I'm sorry, will take us all the way to August 25 AD 1966. Okay? August 25 AD 1966. And since uh, meron pong sabi natin difference po dito ng from BC going to AD, meron po yung middle po nila na 0 year, which is actually not a zero. So we will add 1 year from BC to AD. Wala naman siyang zerong year. So plus another year will take us all the way to June 7 of 1967. Ayan, binabanggit po dyan mga kapatid. Ano po? June 7, 1967. Okay? Now, ano nangyari? Ano nangyari sa June 7, 1967? If we look back sa ating history, ang nangyari noong June 7, 1967 ay yung tinatawag na famous war ng Israel against Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. Yung tinatawag na Six-Day War. Okay? So, during the Six-Day War, ano nangyari po doon sa June 7 of 1967? Israel takes control of the Temple Mount na ano nila, na sakop nila yung Jerusalem. Okay? They have taken Jerusalem, pero hindi sila nagtayo ng templo. Kasi ang utos sa Panginoon, pagbalik nyo doon, you must build the temple, sabi doon, ano po. Okay? Pero hindi nila ginawa na ganun din ang nangyari noong kapanahunan ni Darius. Okay? When the decree of Cyrus was given to the nation of Israel, they did not build the house of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, ano po, way back then. They waited for the period of more than 20 years sa kapanahunan ni Darius. Okay? Sa decree ni Darius, doon lang sila nagtayo ng templo. Kaya nga doon nagalit ang Panginoon, ano po, na sabi niya sa mga minor prophets sa Haggai chapter 1 verse 2, verse 4 and verse 8. Okay, puntahan natin doon. Let's go to Haggai chapter 1 verse number 2. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, these people say, the nation of Israel, say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. So, sabi ng mga tao, ng mga bansang Israel, nung bumalik sila sa Israel, galing sa Babylon, hindi pa daw panahon na itayo yung templo ng Panginoon. Pero they were instructed by the Lord to go back and build the temple. Okay? Yan yung decree ni Cyrus eh. Okay? Pero pagdating nila doon sa Israel, hindi nila sinunod. Okay? Kaya ang ginawa ng mga tao, ang instead of building the house of the Lord, ang tinayo nila yung kanilang sariling bahay. Okay? Yung kanilang sariling bahay ang kanilang ginawa. And this house, referring to the Temple Mount, the temple of the Lord, lie in waste. And go down sa verse number 8. Okay? Inutusan sila ng Panginoon to go up to the mountain to bring wood to build the house. Not their own house, but the house of the Lord, and I will take pleasure in it, sabi yan, and I shall be glorified, sabi ng Panginoon. Pero, hindi nila ginawa. Nakapatid, ano po? So, an edict, the decree of Cyrus to go back to Jerusalem, to build the temple and build the house, to build Jerusalem. Pagdating ng mga Israelites doon sa Israel, sa promised land, hindi nila sinunod ang Panginoon. Ano po? Kaya nagalit ang Panginoon sa kanila. Okay? Yan yung senaryo yan ang senaryo dito sa decree ni Cyrus and decree ni Darius. Okay? The same thing happened noong, tingnan nyo ito yung pattern of events. The same thing happened in June 7, 1967, after Israel won the war against Jordan, Syria and Egypt, yung 6-day war they have taken the Temple Mount under General Moshe Dayan. Okay? Ang ginawa nila doon, nasakop nila yung Jerusalem. Israel had taken control of Jerusalem. They have legally and literally taken the Temple Mount in the 6-day war, but they did not build the house of the Lord. So, ano nangyari? Kung itinayo ng Israel yung temple, third temple sana noong June 7, 1967, this time 2026 dapat is the start of the millennium. Dapat nag-rapture na. Okay? Pero hindi tinayo ng Israelites yung templo, therefore the rapture was pushed back. Okay? So 2026, right now 2026 is the last sa calendar ng mga Jew. From 2026 to 2076, ito po yung last Jubilee. Ibig sabihin ng last Jubilee, ano po, ay dito po magaganap yung mga different kinds of wars, itong mga skirmish wars around Israel na nangyayari ngayon. Yung simula sa ISIS, and then came the Hamas, and then came the Hezbollah, and then came the Houthis, and then other factions sa Iraq, and then hanggang dito po sa gera po nila against Lebanon and against Syria. Mga skirmish war po yan that we have studied last Sunday dito po sa Psalm number 83. All of these are inclusive dito po sa last Jubilee from 2026 hanggang 2076. So, according to ancient Hebrew calendar, 2076 would be the start of the millennium. Okay, so if 2026 is the start of the last Jubilee, that means the coming of the Lord is very, very near. Okay, so yan yung ina-apply po natin. Ito po yung code ni Daniel, ano po? Prophetic code ni Daniel, ano po? Okay? Observing itong 360 days, imploring po nitong binabanggit po natin na kanyang prophecy. Okay? So, now, to understand this more, kinakailangan makita natin bakit ganito ang timeline ng Panginoon, bakit ganito ang iba yung sa calendar natin, ano po. Okay, napag-aral natin yung mga different kinds of calendar last time, but this time we will go back to the beginning, at malalaman po natin yung basic element po ng calendar ng Panginoon. Bakit ang calendar ng Panginoon, ng Hebrew calendar, ay solar calendar originally. It was turned to be a lunar calendar noong that is 300 years before the Lord Jesus Christ, ano po. But yung pinaka-foundation po nito, yung calendar ng Panginoon, will take us all the way to sa Genesis chapter 1, ano po. So, balikan po natin para malaman ho natin yung binabanggit po dito. Okay, so, yung meron pong sa isang week po natin, may Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But in the book in Genesis chapter 1, that is first day, second day, third day, and fourth day. Okay? So pagdating sa fourth day, ano po sabi diyan sa fourth day? Verse number 13. Saan yung verse number 13? Fourth day, third day pala yan. Yung fourth day. Okay. Sabi po dito, hanggang 19. Actually, hanggang 19. Ang fourth day. Okay. Anong ginawa ng Panginoon from verse 15 hanggang verse 19. Verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament between heaven. Sandali ha, ito ay kinakailangan maano natin ito. Dahil sa different kinds of light ito, ano po. Okay. Kasi sa verse number 5, if we go to verse number 5, anong ginawa ng Panginoon dito? Sa first day, yan. In the first day, God called the light day, and the darkness He called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Anong ginawa ng Panginoon sa first day? Verse 4 hanggang 5. Okay? Sabi niya sa verse number 3, let there be light, and there was light. So from verse 3, sa first day, God created the light. Di ba? Pero bakit pagdating dito po sa asan na 'yon? Verse number 14, anong light ito na ginawa ng Panginoon? Anong ginawa ng Panginoon ito? Anong light na ginawa ng Panginoon ito? Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day and the night. So obviously, mula verse 14, anong klaseng light ito? That rule the day? and the night. Oh, that divide the day and the night. Anong klaseng light ito? Let there be lights. Sabi diyan, ano po? So, two kinds of source of lights. Uh, that is the moon, the sun, and the stars also. Sabi diyan sa hanggang sa verse number 16, di ba? God great two great lights, the greater lights to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars also. Okay? Yan. Ano yan? Fourth day ito, sa fourth day. So anong klaseng light ang ginawa ng Panginoon dito po sa verse number 5? Verse 3 to 5. Nung sinabi niya, let there be light. Take note ha, light, singular, okay? So let there be light. Yan, first day. Sa fourth day, let there be lights. Di ba? Sa verse 14, yan o, let there be lights. So ano ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin yan, yung light dito sa verse number 3 ay hindi po sun and moon and the stars. Okay? Kasi ginawa yan sa fourth day eh. Obviously, nakita natin, ginawa yan sa fourth, ito, sa fourth day. Ayan, sa verse number 14. Di ba? So, anong klaseng light ito na unang ginawa ng Panginoon? It's not actually light. Okay? Dahil ito po yung this is the very fabric of the universe. Nung ginawa ng Panginoon itong verse number 10, nung sinabi niyang, let there be light. Okay? Bakit hindi po ito yung sun, moon, and stars? Kasi obviously, ginawa yan sa fourth day, yung sun, moon, and stars eh. So, malalaman ho natin, ano ba yung very fabric of the universe? Kasi according sa statement ni Isaiah and even in the book of Revelation, that the whole creation is just like a garment, and He is stretching out. God is stretching out the universe, sabi ni Isaiah, ano po. So if the universe is like a fabric, ano yung pinaka fabric of the universe? Ito po 'yon. Ang ginawa yan sa verse number 3. The first day, God actually created what the science consider as the fabric of the universe, which is, ano ba ito? The first day, which is electromagnetism. Okay? First day. The first day yan. Ano? Okay? Tingnan nyo ha. Tingnan natin. Now, we need to be stable dito dahil ito po yung pinaka-foundation ng calendar ng Panginoon si Daniel eh. Sa second day, alam natin, anong ginawa sa second day? The verse number 8. Tingnan nyo ha, sa second day. The second day, saan na ba yung verse number 8? And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Tingnan nyo, ano itong ginawa ng Panginoon sa second day? Ha? Sabi diyan sa verse 7, God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament and the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So anong ginawa ng Panginoon dito? Merong water above, meron ding waters beneath the firmament. Sabi diyan, ano po. Okay, now, lahat po ito, in science, these are called yung tinatawag na uh, plasma structure of the universe. Okay? Ito yung fourth dimension of matter. Okay? Na it's not only solid, liquid, and gas, but altogether they are called plasma energy. Okay? Yan po yung second day. Second day. Now, uh, uh, ang tanong po dito, how long would God create itong electromagnetism and plasma? Scientifically, gaano katagal nagagawa itong electromagnetism and plasma particles ng universe? Gaano katagal? Now, sabi po nilang science, that is millions and millions of years. Okay, millions and millions of years. Okay? At totoo 'yan dahil that is mentioned po dito sa statement sa Book of Genesis. Tingnan natin ano po. Tingnan nyo ha, sa first day. Ang sabi po diyan, ano to? And the evening and the morning were the first day. So, isang araw lang ginawa ng Panginoon yung electromagnetism. Literally speaking, yes, dahil God spoke and all things were created. Pero scientifically speaking, that will take millions of years. So, yung day po dito sa Genesis chapter 1, yung day sa Genesis chapter 1, this is not a literal 24 hours day. Okay? This is not literal 24 hours day. That is confirmed sa statement ni Isaiah and even the book of Revelation that the whole universe, the whole creation is like a fabric or a scroll that is stretched out. Sabi pa sa Psalms, di ba? He stretched out the heavens. God, the heavens is continually stretching out. Okay? So, yung day po dito, every day mentioned sa Genesis chapter 1, ano po? First day, verse 5. Second day, sa verse number 8. Third day, sa verse number 13. Fifth day, sa verse number 20. And the sixth day, verse number 27. Lahat po yan, they are not literal 24 hours day. Kasi nga, it would take millions of years to create electromagnetism and plasma effect of the universe daw. Okay? And also, yung original word ng day, itong day po dito is yom. Yom is used as a dividing of time, or as an event illustrating a particular event within time. In contrast po yan sa Yamim. Yamim is a literal 24 hours day. Yan sa Hebrew ha. Pero ang paggagamit dito sa Genesis chapter 1 is not Yamim. This is Yom. So it is not a literal 24 hours day. Nung ginawa ng Panginoon tong light, itong electromagnetism, okay, that is not literal 24 hours day na ginawa niya itong electromagnetism. Ano po? Physically speaking, that is impossible. Ano po? Alam naman natin, everything is possible within God, sa Panginoon. Ano po? But literally speaking, this would take some time. Ano po? So, that is confirmed by ito pong original word natin in Hebrew na Yamim. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa verse number 13. 13 ba ito? Saan ba yung 13? No, yung fourth day. Sa fourth day. Saan ba yung fourth day? Tama itong third day, yung 13 eh. Yan, 13, the third day. And the fourth day, tingnan nyo ha, He created the sun, moon, and the stars. Ayan, hanggang verse number 16. Okay. At that is the fourth day. Ang sabi po dyan, ano po. Okay. Now, take note. Ang sabi ng Panginoon dito, pagdating sa sun, moon, and stars, this is Wednesday na po nito pagka gawin nating literal week. Ano po. Sunday, ginawa niya yung electromagnetism. Monday, He created the plasma. Tuesday, He created the plant kingdom. And then the fourth day, He created the sun, moon, and the stars. And then the fifth day, He created itong animals, fishes, and fowls of the air. And on the sixth day, He created, of course, man. Ayan, okay? So, dito sa fourth day tayo, which is Wednesday. Ano ang sabi ng Panginoon po dito? Sa verse 14, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Okay? And let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. So, yan yung foundation ng solar calendar. Ano po? Now, bago puntahan natin yung solar calendar, tingnan na po natin itong binabanggit na Panginoon dito. Ano po? Okay? Another phrase that we need to study sa Genesis chapter 1 ay yung order ng statement ng Panginoon. Tingnan natin sa first day. Tingnan nyo ha. In the first day, okay, sabi let there be light, sabi sa verse number 3, and hanggang verse number 5, tingnan nyo ha, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Now in Hebrew, ang day, if this is a literal 24-hour day, taking as a literal 24-hour day, kasi binabanggit dyan yung evening and morning. Comparing sa panahon natin ngayon. But actually, yung evening and morning po dito is not an ordinary, just like our evening and our morning. Kasi in Hebrew, sabi po dito, yung evening is Erev and morning is Boker. Or from disorder and chaos to order and design, yung morning. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, in the first day, all of the universe are in chaos. But when God stepped in, He brings order. From Ereb, from chaos, He brings order. From Ereb to Booker. That is the first day. So, take imagining all of the universe, ano po, lahat po ng aspect po niyan, lahat ng forces po niyan in this array. Okay? When God stepped in, now another set of study, bakit na this array yung creation ng Panginoon? Another set of study natin yan. Taking as it is, when God stepped in, He created, He implemented order out of chaos. Okay? From Ereb to Booker. Tingnan natin ito sa science. Ano po? Okay, so, day 1, day 2, day 3. Dito po sa ipa-plot natin, ano po? Ito po yung day 1 hanggang day 7. Okay? Ito po yung anong axis ito? Yung y-axis natin na yung measurement ng entropy. Okay? So sa day 1 when God stepped in, tingnan niyo ha, all of the universe is in this order, in this array, okay? When God stepped in, He created electromagnetism, which is the fabric of all forces of the universe. He created the light. So from day 0 to day 1, He implemented electromagnetism. So if we go up sa scale, that is going up to order. From 0, that is disorder. Okay? So day 1, He implemented electromagnetism. Kaya ang sabi po diyan, and the evening and the morning and the Ereb and the Booker, from chaos to order. Okay? Yan sa Hebrew, ano po? Ito yung entropy profile of the universe, ano po? From disorder, God implemented electromagnetism and He made all things in order. That is the first day. And kaya nga ang statement ng Panginoon sa Genesis 1:1, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, outstanding yan po ay wag natin kakalimutan, ano po. Dahil when God created something, when God will do something, He will begin to create a particular event or thing or anything out of chaos going to order. Kaya nga the whole creation, you can find the signature of God when it comes to design and order. Okay? So yan yung pinaka-essence ng statement na from Ereb to Booker. Kaya sa atin kasi ang araw natin, ang day sa atin nagsisimula sa day, natatapos sa gabi. Di ba? Pero sa Hebrew iba. Okay? Na nagsisimula sa gabi, natatapos sa umaga. So that is day 1. Second day, He implemented the plasma or nabanggit, nabasa natin kanina sa Genesis 1:1 yung the heavens or the firmament, which is in Hebrew Shamayin, or here is water, a water-like universe. A water-like universe, science calls that plasma. Okay? So that is day 2 from Ereb, and again from chaos to order, second day. And then the third day from chaos to order again, going up to order, Okay, going to order. Kaya nga ito ay consistent until the seventh day. Tingnan nyo sa seventh day. Okay? Sa seventh day, chapter 2, anong verse yun? 1 to 4. Tingnan nyo sa chapter 2, verse 1 to 4. Okay, so sabi po dito, and on the seventh day, God ended His work which He had made, and He rested on the seventh day from all that which He had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because He had rested from all His work which God created and made. And so on and so forth. Ano po? Okay? Pero nowhere dito po sa chapter 2, wala tayong mababasa na sa seventh day, walang statement na and the evening and the morning. Wala, di ba? Walang evening and morning sa seventh day. Bakit? Kasi lahat dito, from first day to the sixth day, may statement ng Panginoon, and the evening and the morning were the first day, and the evening and the morning, sa verse 7, were the second day, and the evening and the morning were the third day, hanggang sa sixth day. Pero bakit pagdating sa seventh day, walang statement na Panginoon na and the evening and the morning were the seventh day? Bakit? Kasi pagdating sa seventh day, complete creation na, ano po? All creation from this order, all of these things are all put to order. Kaya nga ang sabi diyan, and God rested from all His work. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Meron na po siyang complete creation. Everything is in order pagdating sa seventh day. Okay? Now, another story will take us to chapter 3. Kasi sa chapter 3, ang story po dito sa chapter 3, nagkasala na ang sila Adan at Eva, and when they committed sin, ano nangyari? Anong statement ng Panginoon sa chapter 3? Anong statement ng Panginoon sa chapter 3? After they had committed sin, ano sabi po dito? From verse number 10, sabi niya sa verse number 10, ha? Oo, nagkasala lang po sila dyan. Okay? Anong ginawa mo? Sabi sa babae. Anong ginawa mo? Sabi ng babae. Okay? So, yeah. Ay, dinaya ako ng serpent sabi niya. Ano po? Okay? So, ano ang ginawa ng Panginoon sa serpent? God cursed the serpent above every cattle, above every beast of the field. Sabi po dyan, ano po? So God implemented a curse to the serpent, and also to the woman. He implemented a curse. And also to the man, He implemented a curse. And also to his creation, thorns and thistles shall bring forth, and thou shalt eat herb of the field. Okay, so the whole creation, when sa chapter 3, after Adam and Eve committed unto sin, the whole creation which was put into order, from chapter 3 onwards, the whole creation is again going down to disorder. Take note, ha? From order sa seventh day, everything is in order. When they committed unto sin, it affected not only the sixth day or man, but all of this creation were affected. Okay, even the animal and the plant kingdom were were affected. So pagdating ng chapter 3, after they have committed unto sin, every forces now are going down again to entropy. Okay? Nagdi-degrade na ulit. Na-implement na yung death. Na-implement na yung decay. Kaya nga may decay eh. They are going down again to disorder. From everything is imperfect after they have committed unto sin, going down again to disorder. Kaya in the scripture, we believe in, because of this study, we believe in the doctrine of devolution. Okay? Kasi itong material universe without the presence and the force and the code of the source of life, electromagnetism is impossible. Ito yung pinaka root, ito yung pinaka origin of life, tong electromagnetism which came from the Lord, of course. Okay? So it was done dito po sa chapter 3. Nagkaroon na po ng corruption. Okay? Corruption. Throughout the whole earth, meron na po siyang corruption. Now, let's go to, in our closing, let us go to, itong statement na ito ay highly politically wrong sa Europe, kahit sa Amerika. Pagka ito ay binanggit mo sa public, huhuliin ka ng pulis. Even in Europe. Puntahan natin itong, balikan natin yung Daniel in our closing po. Having said all this, ay puntahan natin itong in closing natin para malaman natin ano ang outcome po nito. Daniel chapter 9 na ba ito? Daniel chapter 9. Tignan nyo ha. Daniel chapter 9. Ano nangyari 25 years ago sa Amerika? 25 years ago sa 9/11. Okay? Ano nangyari sa 9/11? Ha?
Twin Tower.
Oo. 9/11 sa Amerika. Twin Tower. Insinuated yan dito sa Daniel. Tingnan nyo. Tingnan sa Daniel. Okay. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, and they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is upon us, is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses thy servant, because we have sinned against him. Ibig sabihin po nito, doctrinally speaking, merong every commandment ng Panginoon, pag sinusunod mo, may blessing. Pagka hindi mo sinusunod, may cursing. Okay? Ito. Nakalimutan ko sa Hebrew yung Amerika. Okay? May tawag ng mga Hudyo ang Amerika. Okay? Nalimutan ko yung ano. Pero insinuated yan dito, ano po. Bakit nagkaroon ng degradation ang tao and the whole creation? Bakit from order bumalik sila, bumabagsak sila papunta sa entropy again? From life everlasting, nagkaroon ng moral degradation and devolution. Bakit? Dahil Adam and Eve transgressed the law of the Lord. Okay? If we bypass the law of the Lord, ay ganon ang mangyayari, mga kapatid. Ano po? If we forget the law of the Lord, ganon ang, kaya sabi ni Daniel po dito, all Israel have transgressed the law, they departed, they did not obey the voice of the Lord. Therefore, ano sabi dito? The curse is poured upon us. and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God. Ano po? Ano yung oath na yon? Yung prohibition ni Moises, ano po? Na hindi dapat gawin, ginawa po nila. Yung dapat nilang gawin, hindi nila ginawa. Therefore, the curse is upon us, sabi po dyan, ano po. Na, tingnan niyo po ha, kung tatanungin niyo po yung ito dito, Arabic form o kaya yung Hebrew original word, yung original word ng curse. Alam niyo original word ng curse? Ito yung root cause of problem in the Middle East. Ano po? Ano ba yung curse po dito? Take note, the original word of curse is Allah. Okay? Yung pinaka-deity ng Muslim, Allah, the curse in Hebrew. Chapter 2, tignan niyo pa itong chapter 2 ha. Kasi everything that is major event in sa mundo po natin, they are prophesied, insinuated sa Bible. Chapter 2, verse number 43. Daniel chapter 2 verse 43. Ano sabi po dito? Ito po yung last kingdom ng mundo, di ba? Okay, chapter 2 verse number 43. Then andito yung four kingdoms, di ba, na binanggit. The four kingdoms, yung statue na napag-aralan na po natin dito, ano po. Pagdating sa baba, head of gold, arms and breast of silver, and then bronze, and then iron. Pagdating sa paa, ano sabi po dito? The feet and the toes were part iron and part clay. So the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Ito yung last kingdom bago dumating ang Panginoon, ano po, na nangyayari na po sa atin ngayon, ano po. Tingnan nyo ha. Sa verse 43, and whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Okay? Tingnan nyo ha. Itong yung Arabic word na mix and the Hebrew word of mix, tingnan nyo ha, kasi ito ay hindi pwedeng coincidence lang ito, ano po. Yung Hebrew word po niyan is Arab. Okay? Binabanggit ng Arab countries. Yan ang original word po niyan, ano po. Now, tingnan po dito. Ibig sabihin, pagdating sa bago dumating ang Panginoon, okay, magkakaroon ng mixture ang iron and clay. So itong kingdom na ito, partly strong, partly broken. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin po niyan? Pag nabasag yung clay, ang matitira yung iron. Okay? Yung Arab countries. Okay? Yung Arab countries na binanggit ni Daniel sa chapter 9 kanina, na pinapangunahan ng curse, which is the Hebrew word there is Allah. Okay, yan ang pinaka-curse ng nation of Israel. Bakit? Kasi kinalimutan nila ang Panginoon. Ano po? Okay? Kinalimutan po nila ang alituntunin ng ating Panginoon. Kaya ganyan ang nangyayari, mga kapatid. Ano po? Okay? Now, Tingnan mo natin dito. Ano ang pinaka solution po natin dito? Let's go to going again to Daniel chapter 9. Let's go to chapter 9 of Daniel, verse number 25. Ano sabi po dito? Yung Bible reading natin kanina. Tignan nyo ha. Daniel 9:25. Anong sabi? Know therefore and understand that from the going forth with the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince. Okay? So ang solusyon po dito ay pagdating ng Messiah, the Prince. Okay? Messiah, the Prince. Okay? Messiah Nagid. Okay? Tingnan nyo ha. Dito ay Messiah Nagid. Messiah the Prince, or a military leader. Ang Panginoon po dito as a military leader. But if we go to Isaiah chapter 9 verse number 6, tingnan nyo ha. Tapos na tayo, ito yung pinaka-mensahe natin sa Isaiah 9 verse number 6. Ang Panginoon ay verse 6, sabi ko dito, a child is born, a son is given, the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Kanina, anong Panginoon doon? Messiah Nagid. Okay? Ang sabi diyan, Messiah the Prince sa Daniel 9:25, a military leader. Pero ang Isaiah 9:6, the Prince of Peace. Okay? Sar, ang Hebrew word niyan ng prince is Sar. Sar Shalom in Hebrew. Ano po? Kanina, sa Daniel 9:25, Messiah Nagid. Itong prince po dito is Sar. This is a civil leader. Pagdating sa Daniel 9:25, the Lord Jesus Christ is a military leader. Nung sinabi niya Messiah, the Prince. Ito naman, sabi na Isaiah, okay, Sar Shalom. Okay, so ibig sabihin, ang pinakasolusyon ng lahat po nito mga kapatid ay wala po dito sa mga sinasamba ng mga bansang Israel noon, kasi ito yung pinakadahilan ba't nagalit ang Panginoon sa kanila. They were worshiping Amun, Asherah, Astoret, Baal, Beelzebub, Chemos, Dragon, Molech, Tammuz, Hermes, Artemis, and Zeus. Okay? Nagalit ang Panginoon sa kanila. Okay? Kaya ang pinaka-solusyon ay ang Panginoon, dahil throughout the entire Bible, from Genesis hanggang Revelation yan, Genesis 4:4, the Lamb was typified. Ano po? Okay? Genesis 22, the Lamb was prophesied. In Exodus chapter 12, the Lamb was applied. In Isaiah chapter 53, the Lamb of God was personified. In John chapter 1, the Lamb was identified. In Revelation chapter 5, the Lamb was magnified on His throne. And ultimately sa Revelation chapter 22, the Lamb was glorified. So, wala pong pinakasolusyon sa lahat ng kaguluhan sa mundo maliban ang ating Panginoon, mga kapatid. Yan po ang pinaka-essence ng pag-aaral ng prophecy natin, ano po mga kapatid. Okay, so yan yung complete study po natin ngayong umaga. Nawa ito po ay magsilbing aral sa atin. So may God bless you. See you again next Sunday.